I never thought the biggest heartbreak of my life would happen in my own son's backyard. It was a perfect Sunday afternoon in suburban Ohio. The air smelled like grilled burgers and fresh-cut grass. I'd driven over with a big bowl of Benjamin's favorite potato salad, the one I'd been making since he was 5 years old, and a small gift bag for my granddaughter Olivia. I'd paid 80% of the down payment on this very house. 3 years earlier, I sold my own home so they could afford this beautiful place with the big oak tree I'd helped plant in the backyard. But when I walked through the gate, my daughter-in-law Carrie looked me dead in the eyes and said it loud enough for her entire family to hear, "Gloria, you don't need to come. This party is for important people." I froze right there on the grass, still holding the salad bowl. Up on the deck, people laughed and clinked champagne glasses. Benjamin stood next to his friends, pretending he didn't see me. Not one person came down to greet me. I was suddenly invisible. The woman who funded their American dream had become an embarrassment. I didn't cry. I just turned around, got in my car, and drove home in silence. That night, something inside me finally broke, and then rebuilt itself stronger. The next morning, I did what any retired accountant would do. I opened the old file cabinet and started adding up every single dollar I'd given them over the past 5 years. $47,600. Not counting the cash envelopes, the emergency loans, the car repairs, the salon equipment for Carrie, Olivia's preschool tuition, or the times I quietly paid their utility bills. $47,600. I stared at that number until it blurred. I wasn't angry in the screaming way. I was angry in the quiet, final way. That same week, I went to the bank and canceled every automatic transfer. I opened a new savings account only I knew about. When the banker asked if I was sure, I smiled for the first time in months and said, "I've never been more sure of anything." The storm started almost immediately. First came the texts. Benjamin: "Mom, the transfer didn't come through. Everything okay?" Carrie: "Gloria, we're behind on the mortgage. You know we count on you." I didn't reply. Then the phone calls. Then the guilt trips. And finally, they brought out their strongest weapon. Olivia. My 4-year-old granddaughter had always been kept at a distance. Carrie never let me babysit, never let me hold her for long. Always had some excuse about germs or schedules. But now, suddenly, Olivia became the star of every message. "Olivia keeps asking for Grandma. She cried when she heard you're mad at us." "Mom, please don't punish your granddaughter because you're upset with us." I sat on my porch reading those messages with tears running down my face. They knew exactly where to twist the knife. For weeks, they used that little girl like an emotional shield, sending pictures of her looking sad, voice notes of her saying, "I miss Gamma," and even driving by my house slowly so Olivia could wave at me from the back seat. It worked for a moment. My heart ached so badly I almost caved. But then I remembered the housewarming party. I remembered standing there like a stranger in the yard I helped pay for. I remembered every polite thank you that was really just send more. I wrote in my notebook that night, "They don't want a grandmother. They want an ATM with a heartbeat." The final confrontation happened on a rainy Thursday evening. I was making tea when I heard a car pull up. Benjamin, Carrie, and little Olivia stood on my porch. Olivia was holding a drawing she'd made, a stick figure family with a big yellow sun. Carrie pushed her forward. "Go give it to Grandma." Olivia ran to me with her little arms open. I hugged her tight, breathing in her baby shampoo smell, feeling her tiny heartbeat against mine. For 30 beautiful seconds, I forgot everything. Then Carrie spoke. "See? She needs her grandmother. We all do. If you really loved her, you wouldn't do this to us." Benjamin stood behind her, arms crossed. "Mom, this isn't you. You've always put family first." I gently let Olivia go and looked at both of them. "I did put family first," I said quietly. "For 5 years, I put you first. I gave you nearly $50,000. I gave up my own retirement plans. And the one time I showed up to celebrate the house I helped buy, you told me I wasn't important enough to be there." Carrie's face changed. The sweet mask dropped. myself
You're
when I
really
said
going
no
to
to
punish
you.
your own granddaughter
They left
over her
angry.
feelings?
Olivia looked
That
back
was
at
the
me
moment.
with big, confused eyes.
I
as
looked
Carrie
down at
pulled her
Olivia,
away,
who was now
that
clutching my
look
leg,
broke
then
something
back
in me
at
I
Carrie.
didn't know could still break.
No. For
I
the next
said,
few weeks,
I'm
the
protecting
pressure
her.
got worse
Because one day
more
she might
messages
grow
about
up
how
thinking it's
Olivia
normal
was
to use
suffering,
people until
more
they're
drive-bys.
I'm showing
One
her that
afternoon,
love isn't
Carrie
a bank
even
account.
brought her to my door
Benjamin
alone,
stepped
hoping
forward,
I'd crack,
voice rising.
but I didn't.
You're being
Instead,
selfish.
I started going to church
I
again.
smiled sadly.
Not to hide, but
Funny.
to heal.
That's exactly
I joined a
what I
senior
used to
women's
call.
group.
I met Florence, my neighbor, who had been through almost the exact same thing with her son. She became my rock. Slowly, I began rebuilding my life at 72 years old. I painted the living room a soft sage green. I planted roses in the front yard. I took a solo trip to Savannah, Georgia, and cried happy tears listening to live jazz. I started writing my story, not for revenge, but for other grandmothers who were quietly being drained by the people they loved most. And yes, I still loved Benjamin. I prayed for him every night, but love doesn't mean letting someone destroy you. 3 months later, I received the most painful text of all. Carrie. Olivia keeps asking why Grandma doesn't love her anymore. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back for the first time in months. Tell her Grandma loves her more than anything. That's exactly why I had to stop letting her parents use her as a weapon. When she's older, I hope she understands. I turned off my phone, walked out to the porch swing I'd just bought, and sat in the golden evening light. My heart was still heavy, but it was finally mine again. They used my granddaughter as a weapon. I chose to break the cycle instead, and for the first time in years, I felt free.